As the third wealthiest country in North America, it is no surprise that the real estate market here in the Bahamas remains a favorable attraction for the savvy investor. After all, the country has enjoyed political stability since the year 1729 while maintaining a strong economy built on the pillars of tourism and financial services, influenced heavily by the economic performance of the United States, with Americans accounting for nearly 80% of its visitors. For most of us, the acquisition of real estate is a great achievement, and it is likely that your real estate purchase will represent a significant portion of your personal wealth, regardless of whether you are purchasing your first home or vacation property, or even acquiring a small key for your private getaway. In this presentation, we will briefly discuss the basic steps involved in real estate transactions here in the Bahamas, as well as anticipated costs involved in the process, starting right now. Now, when it comes to real estate transactions, many of us don't realize that the process begins the minute you decide to purchase a particular property, or in the case of a vendor, the moment that piece of land is advertised for sale. In either case, your first instinct will probably lead you to contact your nearest real estate agent for further guidance. These, of course, are the people that look at the finer details in the property industry, anywhere from explaining the average property values in a particular neighborhood, staging homes for an upcoming open house, or even negotiating a purchase price with a particular vendor for justifiable reasons. The costs involved in retaining the services of a real estate agent will vary. However, minimum real estate commissions adopted by the Bahamas Real Estate Association are 6% for developed properties and 10% for undeveloped land. Retaining the services of a real estate agent can be very useful, but oftentimes persons tend not to take advantage of these services for various reasons, which of course is completely fine if you are comfortable with acting on your own behalf. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said when deciding to retain legal services in property matters, where at least one of the parties must be represented by an attorney when involved in real estate transactions. So before you decide to draft your own sales agreement or sign any paperwork, it is important that you get a lawyer involved as soon as you get the purchase agreement in hand, or in the case of a vendor, the minute you decide to advertise your property for sale, in order to safeguard your interests. With the dynamics involved in property matters, it is always best for both parties to be represented by counsel to ensure that the transaction proceeds smoothly and to ensure that the legal rights of both parties are protected. The attorney's role in real estate transactions often involve the holding of deposits in escrow, drafting legal instruments such as sales agreement and conveyance deeds, as well as investigating the title of the property in order to assess the marketability and to address any factors that can affect the transaction itself, such as outstanding utility fees, taxes, or court judgments which may entitle another party to the land. This function is crucial in real estate transactions as the Bahamas does not have an established land registration system in comparison with other jurisdictions where these issues can be easily detected. So it is important that your attorney does a thorough investigation in order to avoid issues in the process. Now, attorneys normally charge a minimum of 2.5% of the value of the property with a reduced rate for higher priced land, with an additional fee for title investigations and drafting sales agreements, the cost of which may vary depending on the value of the transaction, as well as the nature and complexity of the matter itself. Depending on the state of the property, the attorney may recommend other services that may be required to complete the transaction. The most common being the need to prepare an updated property appraisal or to retain the services of a qualified surveyor to confirm the boundaries of the land for sale. In standard real estate transactions, parties tend to agree to either a gross sale where parties agree to pay half of the stamp duty and possibly value-added tax, and each party will agree to pay their own legal fees and real estate commission fees if applicable. Persons may also agree to a net sale where the purchaser pays all of the completion costs, including the total stamp duty and value-added tax, real estate commissions, and legal fees for both parties. Now, it is important that you confirm the current stamp duty and VAT policies with your attorney, as we have seen a number of changes to these regulations since the introduction of the value-added tax regime in 2015. However, for this 2020 year, parties to real estate and transactions are obligated to pay a stamp duty rate of 2.5% on properties valued $100,000 and under, and 10% on properties valued over $100,000. Property transactions are VAT exempt. However, parties are still required to pay VAT on services related to the transactions, found mostly in professional service fees. You should also expect to pay fees associated with the recording of documents into the registry at a current rate of $4.50 per page. And for non-residents, a fee will be required to be submitted along with an application for approval to purchase real estate in the Bahamas from the Bahamas Investment Authority at a fee of $500 for undeveloped land and $250 to register a purchase or acquisition of owner-occupied land or condominiums, or the construction of a dwelling for the same purpose. Now, should you have any further questions on this topic, please feel free to visit our website at www